by the Soul Red Mazda USF 2000 entry, Oliver Askew, our pole sitter. He scored the win in race number 1. Oliver, how you feeling in there?
I feel good. I feel confident. I'm just going to get a good start and can't really plan for anything after that. I just try to pull away.
All right, now you feel good, you look good. Pack Daddy over there at Bell Racing USA has got you hooked up with the Bell helmet. The Cape Motorsports with Wayne Taylor Racing guys have got the car all taken care of. Tell me, how physical is this track here at Barber Motorsports Park? We hear all the drivers talking about how long you're in the corners. It really has an effect on your body.
Yeah, it definitely is physical. Also mentally draining. There's a lot of corners that are blind, so you have to be very precise and hit your marks.
All right, now you got Team Pelfrey behind you. Keelan Frederick, just like in race number 1, you looked super good in St. Pete. You scored a podium and a race win. You're coming off race number 1's victory yesterday. You're trying to go back-to-back here today, and the Cape guys are coming over with some shade. I like that a lot. You got a good setup over here. You enjoy racing here at Barber Motorsports Park, and most importantly, why should people in the stands that are here watching the Verizon IndyCar Series, why should they care about Mazda Road to Indy racing?
Mazda Road to Indy is definitely the best junior development series in the world, I think. Each driver gets to, each champion in the series gets to move on to the next level, and I don't think there's anything else in the world like that. And obviously, the goal is to be an IndyCar driver.
All right, Oliver Askew, thank you very much for the time. Best of luck. It is so great to see young kids like Oliver excel here on the Mazda Road to Indy, presented by Cooper Tires. Again, I'm Tony Laporte, your host of Road to Indy TV. We're getting ready to go green with the Mazda USF 2000 Grand Prix of Alabama, presented by Cooper Tires. We're going to find out how the rest of the field lines up here in race number 2 of the weekend.
On behalf of everyone at Cooper Tires, drivers, start your Mazda engines.
Getting them fired there, Michael Young.
I like it. Each and every time. It never gets old. I always enjoy listening to these folks come in and get this command. It's fantastic. Getting ready for the start of this USF 2000, 4th round of this 2017 campaign. We'll get things underway here in the moment at the Honda Indy Grand Prix of Alabama.
Starting on the outside, 14 years of age, Keelan Frederick of the Team Pelfrey machine. The drivers will roll nicely out of turn number 17 as we get set to go with round number 4 of the Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship. April Capel is going to throw the green flag, and we are underway racing in the Grand Prix of Alabama, presented by Cooper Tires. Good jump for Askew as he jumps into the lead. They'll work their way down now through turn number 1, up through turn 2. We like to call it the Alabama roller coaster. It's up, it's down. Here they come down the run through over to turn number 5. One driver back sideways. We've got somebody spinning right in the middle. That's one of the John Comiskey cars. And there's damage deep in the pack. That's the number 7 of Devin Wojcik. We're going to go full course yellow, I would bet, as he is off the racetrack over in turn number 2, exit of 3. Contact between 2 other cars. Dakota Dickerson, I think, involved potentially with one of the Pabst Racing cars. Full course yellow. Dickerson able to get the car to continue rolling. Excellent job for Dickerson. He's got to hope there's no damage to that car. But Michael Young, that was contact on the exit of the corner. Whoever was on the inside did not want to let Dakota get through and rolled him right off. More contact here on the lap as well. We've got a lot of contact. You know, I think I jinxed some things in St. Petersburg, and I think you might have jinxed it there.
I don't know what and why, and we're under caution, and they're still battling out there. Not quite sure what's going on. So not 1, not 2, 3 incidents on the opening lap. We have another car that's pulled off on the up ramp on the exit of turn number 6.
That's, I think, is Andre Castro, the driver out of Florida for Newman Walks Racing. So we had incidents in turn number 2 or 3, probably turn 3, turn 5, and trying to figure out where the one we just talked about was there, Mike.
I think it was at turn 8 and 9.
Turn 8 and 9, okay.
Yep.
So both downhill kind of runs. We've had drivers getting together. There's 2 drivers together there. That is indeed turn 8 and 9.
Yep.
I'm going to throw it out there. That might be Ricky Donison potentially in the white car for Cape Motorsports.
But at that time, we were already under caution.
Full course, yes.
Wow.
We'll give you an update as they come back around here, folks. And again, one of the drivers who looked so good throughout this weekend, Dakota Dickerson, got unceremoniously issued off the side of the racetrack. One of the black and white Pabst cars, they were side by side. And again, that happens whether or not there was actually pushed off the track or maybe just some contact. Get that side-by-side contact, and sometimes the car will get shuffled off. We're going to get a replay here at least. Here we go.
Let's see what happens.
This is turn number 9.
Yep.
This is 8 and 9. Here come the leaders through.
Wow.
Ooh.
So one of the cars checking up and the other going over top.
So indeed, the driver in the white car, I don't think that the blame was going to be laid there. I think it was the driver behind that probably didn't check up in the yellow and essentially just drove over the top of the other cars. They were kind of slowing down a little bit. That's probably, by the time the full course yellow came out, Michael, that's probably just when they were getting it coming through there.
Yep.
Because as I said, they were able to get through turn 5 racing before they decided to go for it.
I shouldn't have said it, but they have been so patient. They've done such a great job thus far this year, and for that to happen, it's truly a shame. There you see the 7 machine, Devin Wojcik.
So the drivers involved, Devin Wojcik, as I said, Ricky Donison. I want to say it might have been Calvin Ming that went up and over top, because Calvin's in one of the black cars. That could be Calvin Ming in the black car, Donison in the white car. We know that Castro is parked over on the exit of 5.
So Ricky Donison, there's Ricky Donison.
The 37 of Castro's where we said over in turn number 5, the exit there. The 33 of Mickler, Bailey Mickler. He was the driver that got spun coming down the hill. Someone got into the back of Mickler. That's a second straight weekend. The Mickler's been taken out essentially from drivers getting into the back of them. Dakota Dickerson's going to fall to 18th position. Chris Wright goes to 19th. So it's essentially 5 drivers affected by that. I think they've been able to get the car of Castro back underway. No, that was actually Dickerson that went through. Castro still being tended to by the Hamatro safety crew. He just pulled off on the escape road on the outside of 5. But here's your top 10 after the chaos. Askew with the lead, Frederick second, Parker Thompson to third, Renus VK up to 4th. What did we say? Started 7th, stays out of trouble. VK goes to 4th. Corey Enders up to 5th from 8th. Toby Sowery, who started 10th, he is now into the 6th spot. Moises de Oliveira in 7th. McGinnis falls down to 8th. Isla Egren in 9th, right where she started. And Luke Gabin, who started 13th, he goes up into 10th. Biggest mover, Colin Kaminsky, started 18th. He goes to the 11th spot. Darren Keene, Flynn Lazier, Chandler Horton, and Bruno Tomaselli round out your top 15. Joined in the booth, Michael, once again by our reigning USF 2000 champion and current point leader in the Pro Mazda Championship, Anthony Martin.
What'd you do out there? What kind of chaos did you cause with these guys?
Were you spotting this, or?
Well, no, I was apparently parading them around the track. So I was fortunate to have a spin in the Mazda Road to Indy parade car. So that was pretty fun. I at least got to turn 2 laps this weekend. So
we saw you
I'm
out there.
stoked.
You pulled away from the field. You were already gone. I was like, Anthony's already racing out there. He's not even pacing well.
Probably the first race at Barber where Anthony has not been involved in an incident on the racetrack, at least side-by-side contact. But
nah.
Anthony, you've done this before. Second race of the season, young drivers. So 2 years ago, when you were running for John Comiskey, it was your first year here. You had a different mindset. You were all full of energy, trying to just get that. Every opening lap, you're trying to get more positions. Last year, of course, more mature. You've been there once before. Does this surprise you that we've seen some maybe a little over-anxious drivers here in the second race of this weekend?
No, not really. I mean, Barber is a track where it's quite hard to get some passing moves done, and so a lot of people realise how hard it is in the first race, and generally they go for it in the second race. So I think we've just seen that down into turn 7. A lot of people were sort of going for it, and I think that's why we've had a couple incidents there.
Tough one for the drivers involved. As we said, we'll recap. The 22 of Calvin Ming, the 37 of Andre Castro, the number 2 of Ricky Donison, the 33 of Bailey Mickler, and the 7 of Devin Wojcik. Trying to see if any cars are down on pit lane yet to potentially get repaired. I don't see anybody down here at this point.
Doesn't look like there's anybody pinning as
Wojcik's not coming back. We know that. They haven't been able to get anything going with Andre Castro's off track as well. The Hamatro safety crew's still there. But again, Oliver Askew doing a fantastic job again at the start. Not only, of course, getting half a lap before we went full course yellow, but Michael, he got the job done again, was able to get the jet, get on the throttle early, and as Anthony discussed yesterday, that opportunity to be able to jump on the throttle early, time it, try to stack everybody up a little bit and get out there, and he rolled into turn number 1 with no challenge whatsoever.
I was a little surprised that there wasn't an incident between Kalen Frederick and Calvin Ming. Calvin was all underneath the rear wing of Frederick as they went down into turn number 1, and as they got through there cleanly, as they started to get stacked up, you get a couple of cars spinning. Then you get, I think, as you said, Anthony, there's people now going to take advantage of this, you know, try to get as many positions as they can. We have the incident down with Dickerson down in.
I think it might have been Dickerson and VK potentially, because they were essentially started side by side. They got together coming out of turn
They were
number
3
5.
wide down in turn number 5, going through turn number 6. So that's what threw Dickerson out. Then we get the caution, the incident down in turn 9. So clearly not the start that we wanted, and it's put a lot of good machines to the back of this field.
You know, and we'll see what happens. Dakota Dickerson going to start back there in the 18th position. This will put him now on the offensive to try to get himself back into the top 10. Looks like they're going to have to actually pick up the car of Castro. I thought that they may be able to get him going, but obviously some kind of a terminal damage to the car of Castro. They'll get that car behind the wall so we can go back to green, because otherwise I think this track fairly close to getting back in. They're going to bring in the car of Devin Wojcik. They got him on the hook. As you can see, they're going to bring him behind the wall here over by the museum. Oh, that's actually the car of Ming. So we've had 3 cars actually on the hook here as well.
Yeah, Ming finishing, or as we see it on the hook, currently 20th.
And this will be the car of Ricky Donison.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to grab Ricky either. Doing a good job getting the track cleaned up, but still a couple of cars, a little bit of carnage left out here on track. So again, Askew, Frederick, Thompson, VK, and Enders, your top 5 right now. Sowery, De La Vera, McGuinness, Agron, and Gabin now into the top 10. We are watching time kind of wind its way down here. Still a long way to go. Still over 21 minutes remaining in the race here. So ideally, we'll go back to green fairly soon.
Interesting. Flynn Lazier, Chandler Horton starting at the rear of the field find themselves 13th and 14th after all of the chaos that happened on that
Picking their way
line.
through the carnage.
Did a good job picking their way through the carnage.
Bobbing
well
and weaving coming through.
They certainly did. Muhammad Ali flying like a butterfly, stinging like a bee.
Potential with the yellow flags that had come out there. We had a full course yellow come. Essentially, I want to say about 66% of the way through the field, down in turns number 7 and 8. Now we're potentially being told we could get some penalties for passing under the yellow. They are reviewing some drivers that may have passed under that full course yellow when it came out. So the order we gave you, the top 18 drivers, not set yet because race control going back over video. Askew, Frederick, Thompson, VK, and Enders. A little bit of a break in the action. Let's go talk to Anthony Martin here. And you ran USF 2000 last year, a fantastic year-long battle with your teammates, Parker Thompson. You used the triple header at Mid-Ohio to be able to kind of stretch that lead and give you the cushion heading to the finale at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. You come into Pro Mazda, it's a shorter field this year, it's a shorter program, but the prizes are even more than they used to be last year. 2 wins out of the box at St. Petersburg. That must have taken a little bit of pressure off from the start of the season.
Yeah, it was really the perfect start for us at Cape Motorsport. To come away with 2 wins, the 2 fastest laps, and leading the laps for the most time was really the best situation. We're now 16 points ahead in the championship, and it's the perfect way to start the season, and we're really looking forward towards Indianapolis.
Give me your thoughts on the race car itself. How do you like that Pro Mazda? Does it suit your style?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different car to drive. It's very dancy car, as I call it. It's very alive, and there's a lot of work to basically keep it stable on the track. So, you know, that in turn of driving and getting the car set up right is very difficult, but I love a challenge, and I think we've taken it to it quite well.
You've taken advantage of this Mazda Road Indy program, obviously winning the USF 2000 championship. We're joined by Anthony Martin here in the public address booth. Your mindset when you came to the States, the mindset of young drivers, has this program really opened the doors and created a need, a desire for young talent to come to the United States, this Mazda Road Indy?
100%. You've basically just hit it on the head. Yeah, I mean, we saw what the series was back in 2014, end of 2014, and we really wanted to be a part of it. And that's my family and sponsors involved. They're like, hey, let's get myself over there. And, you know, next thing I'm over here testing, and I'm a part of the Mazda Road to Indy. And, you know, a couple years later, I've won the scholarship, and, you know, we've come out with a goal, and we've just won the championship, which is what we wanted. And it's really a big relief to everyone involved, and we couldn't be more than happy to get that scholarship.
When you were younger, was there another plan until this really came to fruition, this Mazda Road Indy program?
Yeah, for sure. I really never looked at going overseas until basically 2014. I wanted to go into the Australian V8 Supercars series, and that was my aspiration to get into that series. Obviously, things change very quickly, and we found ourselves over here. A test opportunity arose with John Kaminsky Racing, and I was here testing, and it went really well, and I was able to compete in the championship the next year.
One of the things that he was able to show, I think you were so impressive with the consistency you had your first year. It was a one-car team with John Kaminsky, just you battling against the one-car team of Parker Thompson at JDC Motorsports for Rookie of the Year. What you were able to bring to the table was top 5 after top 5 after top 5. You weren't really able to ever crack. You were able to crack that top 3 because those guys were just so strong. But man, you put in just a consistent level of performance every week in and week out. And is that something that you maybe have had throughout your entire career?
100%. My dad has always told me, ever since I've been in the kart, that consistency wins. Whether it is consistency through the whole race in lap times or consistency through a whole season in racing, if you can be consistent and finish in the top 5, then you're guaranteed to finish quite well in the championship. And I think, I've been able to fulfill on that, throughout my racing days lately. And as we saw in 2015, being consistently in the top 5, I was able to come away with Rookie of the Year and finish 4th in the championship. So it really means a lot to be consistent in the year, and I strive to be consistent all the time when I'm out on the racetrack. And that's just one of those things that you have to do as a race car driver, and you have to be consistent hitting your marks and, going everywhere on the racetrack where you have to be. So that's just very important, and I learned that at a young age from my dad.
It was interesting. I remember when he first came over here, we talked about him. Like Robin said, you weren't able to crack and get on that podium, but I just remember your name, and I was like, man, just to come in and hop in those cars, what an amazing job that you had done. So it's so great to see you win the championship last year.
The funny thing was that somebody was asking me about the brand new car, the PM18. We have a brand new Pro Mazda coming out next year, and they were asking whether you had a chance to drive it yet, the fact that you were running the Pro Mazda category this year. And I said, that's probably a car that he never wants to drive, because if he does the job right this year, he'll be in a Dallara IL15 next year. He'll never have to drive that Pro Mazda PM18.
Before we go back to green, ultimate goal for you, obviously the Verizon IndyCar Series?
Yeah, for sure. The moment we came over here and saw what the Mazda Road to Indy produces, IndyCar is what I want it to do, and that's where I want to be at the end of the day.
When you won all those races at Mid-Ohio last year, I know that Will Power came up and talked to you. You guys are essentially from the same hometown, same area in Australia. Has Will reached out and given you some support? Has he talked to you a little bit about how to approach this program?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely guided me in the right direction, and he's an aspiration to me. I look up to him. Obviously, he's done the same thing. He came over and he did everything the same way. So I really do look up to him, and hopefully develop the relationship a bit more.
What about the Kiwis? Do you like the Kiwis?
Yeah, I mean, there's always a bit of competition and rivalry between the Kiwis. Believe it or not, my mum's actually a Kiwi, so technically I'm half Kiwi. But
he's a mix.
Yeah, I'm a mix between the two, so I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Is it a Kazi? What do you call it? A mix of a Kiwi and an Aussie?
I'm not sure. I'll just stick with being an Aussie for now.
Okay, that's good. That's
all right,
good.
We'll keep the Australia tag on you. Use that flag when we're raising it up when you win races. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go green this time by. We've got about, 14 and a half minutes. We're right about the halfway point. Oliver Askew leading Kalen Frederick, Parker Thompson, Rinus VK, and Corey Enders. And Askew will roll them out here out of turn 17, and we are back at it here in USF 2000. Green, green, green.
Nice restart. Oliver Askew, 2-car advantage over Kalen Frederick down into turn number 1. Thompson looks to the inside, VK to the outside. That's the battle for third place.
Good battle there. Rinus VK was all up on the gearbox at Thompson as they worked their way here to the green, and he follows them through the Alabama roller coaster as well. Obviously, opening laps, even in these single file restarts, a good chance to make that deep braking move. Look at the move by Moises De Oliveira trying to go to the outside of Sowery. He's got a good run coming out of the corner, side by side. Oh, onto the grass goes De Oliveira. Good battle up front, too.
Kalen Frederick went to the outside, dove back in on Oliver Askew. He'll take a look to the inside as well, unable to make the pass. We got a battle for the lead.
Yeah, we had a couple outside runs on turn number 5. De Oliveira went deep on the brakes to go to the outside at Toby Sowery, and actually was able to get the car to rotate at the apex and beat him up the hill, but Sowery wasn't going to have any of it and kind of started forcing the issue. That pushed De Oliveira off track a bit. He was able to hold on to it, but again, good battling here as they just starting to settle in. We'll give you the top 10. when they come back around to let you know how everybody's shaking up. And in fact, we'll probably go through the entire field. Chris Wright rejoining the field back in 19th, as did Bailey Mickler. So they're back on track. Mickler down about 3 laps. But again, all about getting seat time in this USF 17. Here they come out of 17 once again. Oliver Askew trying to hold off a charging Kaylin Frederick. Across the line, the gap was 3/10 last time. It is down, still 3/10, but a new fast lap goes to Askew. Frederick second, Thompson third. VK and Enders your top 5. Toby Sowery runs in 6th. Robert McGinnis 7th. Moises De La Vera 8th. Agron and Gavin 9th and 10th. Darren Keene up to 11th. Colin Kaminsky runs in 12th. Flynn Lazier in 13th. Chandler Horton 14th. Gore in 15th. 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Tomaselli, Dickerson, Cole, Wright, and Mickler.
Boy, Robert McGinnis trying to get on the inside of Toby Sowery, unable to do so, but McGinnis has a fast car. Caught up in that little melee that we had on the opening lap, so it's dropped a very quick car even further back in the field. So Robert McGinnis running 7th, but again, that Pelfrey car trying to make a move and get around the 31 of Sowery.
We'll obviously watch the battle up front, but again, looking for one of our championship challengers, Dakota Dickerson, to try to recover from the off that put him down into 18th position. I believe he's already into 16th, getting by Bruno Tomaselli. So again, Dickerson trying to do everything he can with the 12 minutes remain in this race. A chaos-filled opening lap as we had Rex down in turn number 3 and turn 5 and turn 9 as well, or 8 and 9. So a lot of chaos. But this has been the story we've seen this weekend. We've seen it in qualifying and Michael Young. We've seen it in the races. It is Oliver Askew, the rookie, against a 14-year-old freshman, Frederick. Good battle up front between both of these drivers. Just under a half a second separating first and second.
And basically a rerun of yesterday, but Kaylin Frederick hanging a little bit closer to Askew as we see Dakota Dickerson make a pass. I just glanced up and saw him make a pass down into turn number 1. I believe that was around Gore.
Deb Gore, correct.
Yep. But as you had said, Oliver Askew, Kaylin Frederick, it's just a good battle. And Frederick has been 2 car lengths, 3 car lengths, but yesterday after Askew would check out, it was never an opportunity for Frederick to keep up, but doing a good job, I think, thus far in this race, at least keeping an eye on Askew and not letting him get too far away.
Really, the last couple of laps, Frederick's just been about 1/10 of a second behind. Askew trying to reset fast lap every time by. Bailey Mickler and Chris Wright having a battle at the tail of the field. That's those 2 Comiskey cars, John Comiskey racing cars. They both got involved in incidents at the start of the weekend. That team has not had any luck throughout this weekend at all. But Askew just keeps setting fast lap after fast lap. We're 8 laps in the books. Of course, a handful of them coming under the full course yellow. Parker Thompson looking to have another consistent run. You look at the consistency again, Parker's trying to do that right now. He doesn't have the outright speed. The exclusive Autosport crew just kind of getting things dialed in here, but he's just knocking out these top 5s and top 3 finishes. That's key if you want to set yourself up for a championship at the end of the year.
Best battle on the circuit right now, Corey Enders, Toby Sowery, and Robert McGinnis. That's a battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. They're within a couple of car lengths of each other, and every time McGinnis will get up to the gearbox of Sowery will catch up to Enders, but great battle there. Looks like Dakota Dickerson trying to get around Chandler Horton now.
Yeah, I think he'll probably get Horton either down coming through the Alabama roller coaster or on the brakes into turn number 5, rolled right up on him into turn number 1. And it actually would be good for Horton to get behind him and to see how deep you can actually go into a corner.
Boy, Robert McGinnis swung way wide. He was trying to get around to the outside of Sowery, unable to do so, but broke very, very late. And now right behind him, Isla Ogren tries to make a move around Moises De La Vera, looks to the outside, will not have the line going into turn number 8. De La Vera able to hold her off.
How about this run for Toby Sowery and this brand new team, Bennick? As I had said yesterday, Bennick, one of the top cadet karts you can buy these days. They've got a fantastic team that puts a lot of kids up front in national cadet karting, and they have made the move here. And Sowery looking good as he's got about 4 car lengths now over McGinnis. That's for 6th position. Driver making his first trip here to Barber Motorsports Park. First time in a USF 2000 car with a brand new team. And they are getting all stacked up behind Corey Enders. Enders in 5th, Sowery 6th, McGinnis and De La Vera. There's a 4-car battle for the final position in the top 5.
Yeah, Moises De La Vera holding up that Isla Agren machine. Isla coming out of turn number 17 right now. It's Agren, then Gavin, then Keene. The 4 of those cars nose to tail. Yeah, they come down into the Alabama roller coaster. And Isla Agren trying to get around that machine of Moises De La Vera.
Sowery just a half a second behind Enders now as well. Good racing. inside the top 5 and outside the top 5.
And De Oliveira starting 16th up to that 8th position. So, well, with all that melee, and obviously Isla was up there a lot further, a quicker car potentially, and she's trying to get around, dives down low into turn number 6, and once again, De Oliveira closes the door.
Interesting because that 6-driver battle kind of in front of Dakota Dickerson. If he was able to get up past any of those drivers and into the top 10, I think he would have to consider this recovery a success. Dickerson out of 14th. You don't want to have a run outside the top 10 if you're looking to win a championship here. Dickerson, the potential. Remember, he signed with Newman Walks Racing for this year, a 2-year deal. The plans to put Dakota into Pro Mazda next year when that team expands into that second tier of the Mazda Road to Indy. And Dickerson has looked good, essentially leading the Newman Walks team thus far. Flynn Lazier is running with them this weekend up to 13th position. Of course, was able, as we said, to bob and weave through the opening lap chaos, but he's running pretty solidly right now, about 0.7 of a second behind Colin Kaminsky. But as this driver streaks by us here at start-finish, it is now a 2.2 second advantage for Oliver Askew.
The De Oliveira car, that number 12, stacking him up behind him. He's got 6-7 cars, and Dickerson now becoming part of that battle as well. So for Moises De Oliveira, he's got a lot of pressure, not only Agron, but Gabin, Keene, Kaminsky, Lazier, and then Dickerson.
Listen to this. Dickerson 1.2 seconds faster than both De Oliveira and Gabin, a full second faster than Gabin, over a second faster than Keene, 9/10 quicker than Kaminsky. He's faster than all those guys. Here's side-by-side racing. That is out of turn number 5. Keene on the inside. I want to say it's which driver on the outside. That's one. Trying to figure out who did. That's Kaminsky.
It's Kaminsky.
Not Colin Kaminsky getting racing. Side by side over to turn number 8 and 9, Michael. Oh, coming down through that right, left, right combination. Great racing, and that's a battle for the 11th position. Colin Kaminsky getting real racy as he's able to get up alongside. A deep braking move, and of course, trying to roll the center on the outside of that corner is not easy, Anthony.
Yeah, going too wide through there is definitely not advised. But, yeah, I mean, they were smart enough and they went single file through there. But it was definitely looking like they were going to go too wide.
Was that something you would ever do? Would you ever consider that even though you would not advise it?
If I was on the inside, maybe. If I was on the outside, I would probably pull out because it's not looking good for the guy that's on the
one
outside.
of the cars off into turn 17. Was that Luke Gabin?
Let's pick that number up as they come across. Indeed, the number 91 of Luke Gabin going off. You can see him give his head a little shake. Came off out of turn number 17. Michael Young picking it up, and he went right through one of the banners and just destroyed it coming through there. How far back did he fall? 14th position. And remember, he was running in that 10th spot, so Luke Gabin falls down to 14th position. That's going to put Keene, Kaminsky, Lazier, and Dickerson up. Side-by-side action again. That's, I believe, De Oliveira battling it out with Keene now, as Keene's been able to get by Agron as well.
Keene got by Agron last time by, indeed. So that battle happening down in turn number 9.
Darren Keene, the young karting driver we've seen work his way up to the cadet ranks, running in the Rotax classes.
And that's probably with that Gabin off, that whole thing caused that little melee right there.
Shook everybody up, no doubt about it. And here we go. The battle again. Dickerson trying to work his way forward. Just about 5 minutes remaining in the session in this final race for USF 2000. Round number 4 of the 2017 Cooper Tires USF 2000 Championship powered by Mazda. The Grand Prix of Alabama on track here now, and 5 minutes to go.
Well, Flynn Lazier has a eyeful, or mirrorful, I should say, of Dakota Dickerson as they make their way through the final portion of this course. Now Isla Agron starting to look to the inside of De Oliveira. That battle coming out of turn number 17 as she runs down into turn number 1. That's McGinnis actually and Enders. McGinnis and Enders done into turn number 1. Isla Agron still down there, so a nice pass by McGinnis.
It's DE Force and Team Pelfrey, and DE Force and Team Pelfrey.
Exactly.
So both of the Pelfrey drivers trying to get by the DE Force drivers, and again, as we said, it was McGinnis actually by Enders. I don't think Agron quite had enough for De Oliveira, but yeah, McGinnis now up into the 6th position. Here comes Dakota Dickerson as well. He's been able to get by his teammate Flynn Lazier. So Dickerson now into 12th. He's going to try to see if he can catch up to Colin Kaminsky, who's having a really solid run here today. Again, 3.5 minutes remaining.
So for Dakota Dickerson, 12th, pretty good. I think he still has an opportunity to get to Kaminsky, and the way we've seen some passing and those few offs we've had in these last couple of laps, may be able to get even more, considering how disastrous this could have been. Not bad to come back to 12th if this is the way he finishes.
The bottom line for Dakota is it's not a DNF. It's not a 20th finish. He was able to keep the car on the racetrack and work his way forward. And that's what you got to think about, because almost every driver is going to have that one big off, that one bad race on a season. Doesn't always happen, but if you're trying to win a championship, you got to make sure you make the most of every opportunity. 3 minutes remaining. Askew leads. Frederick second. Thompson now third. There's a roll on the line in front of us. Arenas VK trying to close up here on Parker Thompson. The 31 of Sowery all by himself in that 5th position. Great run for Toby. McGinnis now 6th. Enders 7th, getting closed on by De La Vera. Dickerson trying to close up to the tail of that group. As we said, he's been able to get by Lazier. He's now just a second behind Keene and was quicker by almost a full second last time by. Here's a battle here for third, final podium position. Michael up for grabs as VK looked to the inside, hard braking to turn number 5. So potentially some issues for Parker Thompson pushing hard, but you're getting pressed in the tail like that, Michael. That's when you just make that little mistake, maybe a little too far, and maybe a correction coming through turn number 1. He put 2 wheels off. That allowed Arenas to get closer.
Kind of one of those situations, Anthony, when you have somebody in your mirrors, you have to keep an eye on them, but you can't let it get into your head, because then you end up playing defense as opposed to be continuing your good offensive run.
Yeah, for sure. You know, as the person in front, you want to be focusing forward and looking at the road ahead. And if you're looking in your mirrors, you know, generally 9 times out of 10, you're going to go slower and give the guy behind you a chance. So it's always very difficult. But and if you're the guy behind, the big plan is to fill up the guy in front's mirrors.
How often do you look in the mirror throughout a race if you know somebody's behind you?
To be honest, I probably lose count. But I mean, you sort of have a.
I thought he was
exactly.
I thought he was going to go. I never look in my rear view mirror.
Nah. But you know, it's just one of those things. If it's there, you're going to have a bit of a glance at it, and that's what it is. And I think your peripherals probably look in there more than your actual eyes do.
We have ourselves a battle right now for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th. Folks, we're going to go white flag next time by. Dakota Dickerson trying to close up on this group here. That's De La Vera, Agron, Keene, and now Dickerson in the 11th. He is closing up here. They are separated by about 2 seconds. Agron definitely trying to find a way by De La Vera. That's been a race-long battle, but Dickerson closes right up under braking to 5. See if he can't shake young Darren Keene a little bit. Dickerson definitely the quickest driver of that quartet, but they will see the white flag next time by. Let's take just a quick little opportunity to give some credit where credit is due, Michael. Oliver Askew doing it again. 3.3 seconds into the lead. Confidence, momentum, maturity, and poise is what we're seeing out of this guy right now.
Well, it's easy not to talk about him, because once he gets command of this race, he just starts to pull away. But Kalen Frederick has done a great job. Yesterday, I think it was 5-6 second lead. So Kalen's done a better job today. Better setup on the car. Conditions just a little bit different. But again, for Oliver Askew, he continues to impress as he makes the final turn out of turn number 17. White flag this time by.
Keeping an eye on this battle for the final positions inside the top 10. De La Vera, Agron, Keene, and Dickerson in the middle of a great battle. We're not done yet for third either, as Arenas VK continues to put the pressure on Parker Thompson. Here comes that battle here for the final position in the top 10. Dickerson gets by Keene. So Dickerson now into the 10th spot. We talked about that being the one, but what does he got? Does he get 2 more? Agron and De La Vera now in the crosshairs for Dakota Dickerson in the Newman Walks Racing number 36. Dickerson putting on a show here now. Can he get 1 and 5? They'll work their way out. He's not quite close enough. In fact, Darren Keene coming back. Dickerson's going to have to go on the defensive. Keene's going to try to go to the inside on the brakes. And he does. Keene to the inside. Book it. What a pass. Dickerson trying to hold up again. Keene came right back at him. So it's back to the battle for 10th. Dickerson's going to try to roll up on Keene as they come out to turn number 8 and 9. Dickerson looks to the inside. He's going to get him as well. Dickerson. Book it again. Dickerson to the inside. Great battles. We have a spinner. That could be Bailey Mickler, I believe, around over in turn number 5. But again, let's look at the leader, Oliver Askew. The checker flag will wave this time by.
Boy, for Dakota Dickerson, he almost had another off when Keene got underneath him. That's what happened to
He's
him
done
in
that
the
once
opening
before.
of the race.
Coming down the front straightaway here at Barber Motorsports Park. Back-to-back jacks in USF 2000. For Oliver Askew, his 3rd win of the 2017 season. He is victorious here on this track in Birmingham, Alabama. Askew wins over Frederick and Thompson.
All right, the broom and a bottle of water. Oliver Askew, 2 wins here this weekend in Alabama. This race car driving stuff's kind of easy, it looks like.
I'm having a great time. This is a dream come true, and I can't thank everyone enough involved, especially Mazda and my team, Cape Motorsports, for giving me a car to compete at this level. And yeah, the race was fantastic. I think Kalen might have had a problem or something about mid-race, and I was able to pull a gap. But yeah, and fantastic weekend. It's a clean sweep for us, and yeah, on to the next one. And big thanks to everyone who supports me. Bell Helmets, Cooper Tires, of course, and all of the fans here, my team especially. So thank you.
All right, Oliver Askew, get that broom out front. He sweeps the weekend here in Alabama.